Head T, Ministry of National Development, Ms. Cheryl Chan.
Chairman, I beg to move that the total sum to be allocated to Head T of the estimate be reduced by $100. Sir, majority of Singaporeans residing in public housing and affordability of public housing is ever more an important topic for us to emphasize on. This will be my focus for this speech. The property market has been vibrant over the past 2 years amidst the pandemic, largely due to the delays in the BTO construction and hence resulting in higher resale market housing prices. While MND had all hands on deck to better manage the delays in BTO construction through providing concessionary work passes for construction workers from neighbouring countries, to extending the duration of steel price protection to shield the construction companies from rising cost pressures. But we were still unable to prevent the delay that's involved. As I mentioned in my budget speech, Singapore as a small nation, we are very susceptible to supply chain disruptions and shocks. With more unseasonable weather occurring globally and unstable political situations, the likelihood of these supply chain disruptions will only continue to persist. Would MND be able to share the plans in place to build resilience in our construction ecosystem as we continue to dependent on them as we develop this nation and to manage the potential future disruptions? Since the onset of hybrid working, many have realized that their existing homes may not be adequate to facilitate both working from home and for their children to continue home-based learning on certain school days. Some may look to upgrade and having more space, or the younger members of the family may choose to have their own spaces as they look out because they want to have private working space. This trend is further accelerated by COVID-19. And also, the trend may further pick up as seen in some Western societies whereby the young would leave their nest when they turn of age. How can we prepare for this sociological change that we are seeing in our society today? At this point, I must commend MND for the timely intervention in the fast-heating property market in 2021. As we all know, it is a tight balance to let market forces operate on its own to sustain a property market, but at the same time introducing property cooling measures that do take some effect in the short term to prevent any possible housing bubbles. One of the schemes that was introduced is the Prime Location Public Housing Scheme, and that is not so much about the housing bubble, but to manage the evolving housing needs and trends that we're seeing in our country. But very often, we forget that with limited land available, the affordability of public housing do hinge upon forward planning of land usage and allocation of lands in Singapore. We need to ensure that we have a delicate balance in the many needs from residential, commercial, leisure, and environmental needs. In last year's COS, MND announced the commencement of the public engagement exercise for the long-term plan review. I personally attended some, and I'm heartened to see the active participation of Singaporeans in envisioning together with our land planners on how they would like the future Singapore to be. I'm encouraged at how our citizens have reflected the needs of incorporating natural and environmentally sustainable solutions in addressing housing needs moving forward. But at the same time, they also acknowledge that sometimes trade-offs are inevitable. May I ask the Minister on the current progress of this public engagement exercise and what are the next steps to involve more citizens in shaping our future land use together? As the LTPR is more strategic in nature, and with the plans materializing only in the decades ahead, can the Minister shed some light on whether there are plans to expand the PLH scheme to beyond the core central regions? During my walkabouts and house visits, residents have expressed reasons of why some choose to purchase public housing outside of the core central regions. And they do prefer to have this in actually the mature estates. I understand there could be some challenge because the mature estates are quite highly built by today, but their reasons do range from convenience of facilities in the mature housing estates to the ability to stay closer to their parents who can assist with caregiving for their young children, and some also want to do the same for their elderly parents. Would there be a possibility for the PLH scheme to be extended to popular mature estates? With headlines last year heralding that our public housing in mature estates are being sold at record-breaking prices, it does not help that some young working adults do desire their own independence, but yet still would like to live near their parents for mutual support. Sir, public housing is a necessity for many individuals and with the young families that we're looking at. As we pride ourselves to be one of the highest home ownership, having one of the highest home ownership around the world, we must continually find ways to enable this to remain affordable for the generations to come. Thank you.